Respectfully, Sheryl Swoopes, you have any idea how that makes you look? You have any idea how that serves to stain?
Did Sheryl Swoopes just throw shade at Caitlin Clark? Stephen A. Smith thinks so, and he's not holding back. The sports world is buzzing with this latest controversy, and you won't believe what Smith has to say about it. Do you believe you've ever witnessed controversy in sports? Rethink your thoughts. Not by happenstance, a Hall of Famer recently passed over the most popular name in women's basketball. Why is Stephen A. Smith so infuriated over a legend ignoring a budding talent? Let's dissect it. WNBA legend Sheryl Swoopes recently commented on the Indiana Fever's play. She was full of compliments, praising players like Kelsey Mitchell and Lexi Hall in particular. Even Aaliyah Boston's nearly triple-double was highlighted by Swoopes. However, there was one conspicuous absence from her analysis. Caitlin Clark. You may be asking yourself, how could anyone forget about Caitlin Clark at this point? That's precisely the thing that has everyone perplexed.
I think the Olympic break really helped Indiana. I'm going to shout out to Lexi Hall. I'm a big Lexi Hall fan. Lexi Hall shot the leather off the ball in their game against Seattle. Aaliyah Boston, almost a triple-double. If Indiana continues to play the way they're playing like this, they too are going to move up in the standings, end quote.
Clark is a phenomenon who has been creating waves in the league since she entered the league, not just any player. Thus, it begs some important concerns when a basketball legend such as Swoopes appears to ignore her. There's more to this tale though. Swoopes remained silent on Clark, but she was all over Angel Reese, another up-and-coming talent. Reese's ability to grab rebounds was praised by Swoopes, who said, "Angel just has a knack for the basketball, sis. She's constantly giving her team more possessions." Nah, this disparity is what has people discussing the most. Let's be obvious now, Angel Reese merits praise. She has a very special skill set and is an amazing player. However, when you give one emerging star all the credit while neglecting another, it begins to appear less accidental and more purposeful. Here's when Stephen A. Smith enters the picture. He's not simply angry, he's pointing out what he perceives to be blatant prejudice. Respectfully, Sheryl Swoopes, do you have any idea how that makes you look? Smith asked without holding back. You are aware that you appear nuts by doing this. Strong statements from a man who has never held back when expressing his views. However, Smith is not merely hurling charges. He's drawing attention to an issue that goes beyond this particular instance. Swoopes' remarks, in his opinion, stain any kind of critique of Caitlin Clark and imply a more pervasive prejudice against her. It's about fairness in sports commentary, not simply about missing out on one guy. Consider this. What message does it convey when a reputable source in women's basketball appears to be ignoring one of the most talked about athletes in the league? It's unfair to fans as well, who should receive fair-minded, unbiased comments, not just to Clark. Smith reinforced this claim by stating, "You know basketball better than most of the men that play basketball. There is no way in hell you just accidentally left Caitlin Clark's name out." He is casting doubt on Swoopes' objectivity as a pundit, arguing that her deliberate and problematic exclusion of Clark is questionable. Stephen A. Smith entered the ring, just as you were starting to believe that the debate could not get any hotter. His next statement not only made people take notice, but it also rocked the world of sports analysis. What exactly is at risk here, and why is Smith acting so irrationally? Stephen A. Smith is a man on a mission, not merely a crazy person. He had an extremely strong reaction to Sheryl Swoopes' remarks. Smith called Swoopes out with such fury that it's getting everyone talking. Smith didn't hold back. "You do realize this makes you look insane," he remarked. "This gives you a really bad appearance." But from a man who has witnessed his fair share of sporting scandals, why such strong words? What Smith views as an obvious and intentional bias holds the key to the solution. The notion that Swoopes just forgot about Caitlin Clark is not one he accepts. He's even pointing it out as deliberate. Smith responded, "You know basketball better than most of the men that play basketball, and there's no way in hell you just accidentally left Caitlin Clark's name out."
Go ahead and look. Everywhere you turn, Indiana Fever is breaking records. All Sheryl Swoopes did was validate all the speculation, because to know basketball like Sheryl Swoopes does, to be as accomplished as she is.
Though it's a strong charge, Smith isn't backing down. This is where things become really fascinating though. Smith is challenging the entire framework of sports commentary, not simply Clark. He's not hesitant to call it as he sees it, saying that our discussion about athletes may be influenced by personal biases. Smith went one step farther and alluded to a more serious problem. He continued, "I believe it's absolutely about skin color, both the praise of Angel Reese and the hate of Caitlin Clark." It's a strong statement that is making us face some hard facts regarding racial representation in sports media. This goes beyond a single player or remark. Smith is standing up for equitable talent acknowledgement across racial boundaries and opposing the status quo. He is advocating for fair play where all participants, regardless of their background, receive the recognition they merit. Smith's statements carry a lot of weight, which is why this scenario is so volatile. He's not merely employing colorful language when he refers to Swoopes' actions as heavyweight championship hate. He's drawing attention to himself by emphasizing how severe he believes the bias to be.
Do you realize that, Sheryl Swoopes, you're insane to do that? Let me tell you why you're insane to do that. Because Sheryl Swoopes, you're one of the greatest players ever in the history of basketball.
Smith's reaction should serve as a warning to the sports media community. He's expressing what a lot of people may be thinking but are scared to say. He's getting acclaim and criticism for this audacious action. As one analyst put it, "Well done, Stephen A." See, these days, I seldom ever agree with Stephen A. Smith. However, Smith's goal is to start a discourse, not win people over. We have some difficult questions to ask in light of this situation. Do we truly believe that our commentary is treating every athlete fairly? Do our perceptions and discussions of talent suffer from unconscious biases? What effect does this have on the athletes themselves, above everything else? Smith's cries for justice carry a long way off the basketball floor. The shocking thing is that this goes beyond sports. It's a mirror reflecting a larger issue facing our society. Why should you worry about this, and what's truly at risk? Let's examine this controversy's true motivation in more detail. In addition to standing up for Caitlin Clark, Stephen A. Smith is revealing a covert agenda that has been there in the background of sports commentary, and it's bigger than you realize, I promise. Smith is not holding back. He is drawing attention to what he considers to be blatant racial bias in the discussion of players. It's not only about giving one player more credit than another, it's also about how these prejudices subtly affect how the public views these players. Additionally, perception has the power to create or ruin a career in the high-stakes world of professional sports. Consider it. There is more to this race for Rookie of the Year than simply stats between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. It has to do with stories. And whose narratives are they? The press. All the remarks, evaluations, compliments, and critiques combined add up. It may also have an impact on who wins the prize trophy and how people view these players. This is where things become really fascinating though. Smith speculates that Swoopes' apparent sincerity in praising Angel Reese may be deceiving. He continues, "It absorbs her of people being able to say this is about skin color even though I believe it's absolutely about skin color." It's a strong assertion that compels us to reconsider how we view sports commentary. This goes beyond a single player or remark. It's about how words may influence a person's career. Someone of Clark's caliber is affected when a renowned voice like Swoopes appears to neglect them. It has an impact on how supporters, sponsors, and other players view talent and potential across the whole league. And not to be overlooked are the supporters. They are more than spectators in this drama. Every remark, every analysis, every bit of commentary is having an impact on them. Everything is impacted by their perception of these players, including game attendance and jersey sales. It's a self-feeding cycle that begins with the way we discuss the game. But the actual deal is this. This debate extends beyond the realm of basketball. It's a microcosm of more significant problems facing our society. The prejudices that we observe in sports talk, they are representations of the prejudices that permeate every aspect of our society. Through his sports criticism, Smith is drawing attention to a larger issue. What action, therefore, can we take? Being conscious is the first step. Pay close attention the next time you hear a sports take. Are all participants being treated equally? Are some people's talents being undervalued and others being exaggerated? It's important to acknowledge these subtle influences and demand better, not to point fingers. It's not only about one player that Stephen A. Smith is defending Caitlin Clark with such fervor. It serves as a wake-up call for the whole sports industry. This dispute demonstrates the influence words have on on public opinion and career paths. It's about justice in all sports commentary, not just basketball. Consider it. Every time a pundit compliments or berates a player, they are shaping our perception of the game, and it has an impact on everything, including sponsorships and fan support. Smith is challenging all of us to perform better by pointing out what he perceives to be bias. What then are our options? The first step is to pay attention. Pay close attention the next time you hear a sports take. Are all participants being treated fairly? Do certain abilities go unnoticed, while others receive a lot of attention? It's important to acknowledge these subtle influences and demand better, not to point fingers. Will your ears be trained differently the next time you hear a sports take?